So we started down that path to see what we could do. Now you got to keep in mind, we had never done a sports car like that.
Right.
So that was a problem. And we didn't have any. There was nothing on the shelf to put together to build a car. Like everything had to be from the ground up. But the team did a hell of a job in the end. So congratulations to them. I know Kurt Hill's here from. I saw Kurt. He was our engine guy.
Yep.
One of the surprising delights, Kurt, the original objective for the car was 500 horsepower, and the car was scheduled to go 205 miles an hour, and these boys pulled off 550.
That's right.
Took the car to Nardo. Remember Mark McGowan drove it? 211.89 certified.
Right.
But all the specifications on the car say 205.
Right.
Because we hadn't run the Nardo trip yet.
Right.
That was a nice surprising delight. Very nice job, Kurt.
And on top of that, look, we now know all these years later, we've been talking about this the last 2 years, last 2 days, they're bulletproof. That drivetrain is bulletproof.
And bulletproof is that's why the transmission is that big ass Ricardo transmission.
That's right.
Anybody remember the Pantera?
Of course.
Yeah. The weakness on the Pantera was what? The ZF box, right? And I said, we are not going to repeat that, so we looked for a bulletproof gearbox, and that Ricardo was bulletproof.
Bulletproof.
And there's one other bulletproof part. We didn't have an engine block at the time that we could rely on, okay? Let alone bulletproof. And this is Kurt. This is the question for you. A gentleman came to see me from casting division. He had done this at home after he was retired, I think about 4 years. And he had designed an all-new aluminum 5.4 block. And he came into my office one night, and he took me through all the work he had done, and I'm sitting there, and he used the word. He said, this will make this engine bulletproof. And then I sent him over to you. What was the guy's name? I can't remember.
Bob Brinkowitz?
And you see, I knew Kurt would know. Anyhow, now word is that people in the Texas 1 mile,
sure,
over 3,000 horsepower, and the engine stays together.
So we had this talk last night at dinner, because they came in late. By the way, they drove in him, Chris Theodore, and his son, Mike. And you guys are probably familiar with the 300 mile per hour run, right? With the Ford GT. Stock body, it's not fiberglass overlaid, with the original block. Now everything else is modified, but the basic block, right, Kurt? And it was stuck at 292, 293, 294. They massaged whatever they did, and they had to find a runway long enough for a stock body. I think played with the suspension and all that, and they had special tires. 303, 302, standing mile, 302. It's crazy. Round of applause for that. And if it wasn't for Kurt and that group, it would have never happened. And so that's why you were there at the time. So most of you are going to understand this, so fall into line. Ford, remember, went crazy in the 90s, early 90s. It became the premier group. You guys owned Mazda, you owned Land Rover, you owned Aston Martin, you owned Jaguar, because you wanted to have this crown jewel and blah, 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 blah. So I had the Vanquish. Vanquish was at that time the, oh my God, because it's the year before this, the year before. It's this, it's that, listen. I had 3 of those cars. You have to say Hail Mary, and I love the car to this day. And I want to still buy one of the James Bond cars, because Die Another Day with the Vanquish, they really used Mustang motors in them with your T transmission, T5, T, whatever the hell it was at the time. I wanted to buy one of those because between the V12 with the coil packs that would burn out and the transmission with the F1, which was terrible. You would hit second gear and it would just disappear, and you had magnets and all this baloney. Typical British, don't drive in the rain. Wait, turn it off for an hour, maybe it'll work. I can't put up with that. We got into these, like you all know. I did 13,000 miles around the world in 30 days. Never did anything. I didn't even add air to the tires.
Well, think about it. The cars in the end there, would you say the one car's got 96,000 miles?
You got 256,000 miles on those 3 cars.
You can drive these cars day in, day out.
Oh, yeah. And again, guys, to save money, if you have to save money at this point, the air filters are out of the Taurus. Spark plugs are special, but they're E-plugs. It's no big deal. It's not like you're buying a Ferrari, it's $10,000 for this, but you can get basically everything in the 8 Auto store. So it's just a beautiful piece. So, you were telling us last night, and I think Steve was bringing this up around the way, and Camilla brought it up. So now you guys have to have this powwow. Bill Ford gives you the okay. What are we going to do? You get Freddie G involved. Cradle to grave, as Fred always said, 16 to 18 months. Joey, we got this car done in 16 to 18 months, cradle to grave. We need 4 years, you know the way he talks. 4 years, and I'm keeping all the cursing out of it. 4 years for testing, crashing, mileage, durability, right, Kurt? That's the normal. 18 months you get the job done. How did you do that in that 16 to 18 month period?
Well, first off, you had to have a team that was dedicated, and everybody on our team was pretty much dedicated. And what I had to do is, because there was no way you could do this project in that short a time, normally we do things in sequence. We get this done, and we get this done, what we did with this team is we set everybody off at the same time, and we said, gentlemen, we have to meet at this point, got to have your work done.
Did you guys meet in a hotel or something? Did you guys go somewhere?
No.
A meeting room or something for a while?
Not on this program. Not on this program. We did that on another program.
Oh, okay. It's a good one. Oh, so this was on the QT. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So we set everybody loose, told everybody where they had to be, at what time, with what work they had to have done, and everybody showed up there on time. The car came together, right? As a matter of fact, the 2003 Centennial was a year before we had the first real production prototype, the pre-production units. And so they said, can we have a car to drive on stage? So I told them, we got to put a car together, guys, that looks like a real production car.
Yep.
So when the team said they could do it, I threw another curveball at them. I said, gentlemen, if we can do one, we should be able to do 3. And the team bitched, and I said, well, what do you need 3 cars for? And all I said was red, white, blue.
Yeah, how
and
cool is that?
they knew what that was. It was
How
an
cool is that?
American car.
That was cool.
Yeah, I heard no bitching after that.
Well, that was cool. And my car came next, CP1, which that came right after confirmed prototype number 1.
Yeah.
But those cars were really cool. But even just the yellow concept car that they pushed out or rolled out, maybe
that was a fiberglass.
Yeah, fiberglass car that went on the roof, which I tried to get after you closed Wixom, but Jamal got in the middle of that story. But I was going to take that car because Freddie and I were really good friends. Did anybody go to the Wixom plant when the car was being built or see stories of the old Wixom plant? So they had the fiberglass car that they originally rolled out. They gutted it out and it was on the roof of the Wixom building. It was on an angle like this. So I'm the typical New York guy. I got a business in the city. I got a big building. Guys, I'll put you guys over the top. This is a bullshit Ford, okay? This is the way we talk. I'll take that Ford when you guys are done, and I was going to put it on top of the building in a Manhattan building. Fred's like, 4 million people are going to see this today. That makes sense, right? So a friend of ours named Jamal, no, we can't let the car go out. And it's on the wall at Roush now with the, whatever it is. So it's sitting in a wall, enclosed that nobody can see it. I would have paid whatever you want. Make a donation.
Well, you can show up at the museum and see it.
I know. I got a picture of me kissing it like I'm going to kiss you at the
No,
end.
you ain't kissing me, okay?
I'm